Hi, I'm Eric Newbert with OnlineJuriedShows.com. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to take a pretty decent quality photo of your work. A lot of times you see work that comes through that's just not quite up to snuff, but you want your work to look good to both the judges and, if it's for sale online, you want it to look good to a prospective buyer as well. Okay, we're going to show you what we're going to use. We have a phone, we have a tripod mount, we have a color card, we have our diffuser box, and we're going to show two different size paintings, an 8x10 and a 12x16 painting. Okay, so as far as the tools we're going to use, the first thing you want to get is it's a little light box. You can find these on Amazon.com, and most of the time you'll see them for eBay purchases. People photograph their eBay stuff. It makes it nice so that it takes away the specular highlights of the light so that you get a nice even image of your painting. Now, it's pretty lightweight, so you can take it in the field if you're at a competition or something like that and you want to take a photograph of your work before putting it up for sale. You can do that. Now, it is spring loaded and it pops up to a nice little cube. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set it vertical on our table, because what we're going to do is we're going to take the picture of it facing straight down. That makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to get it all squared up in your image. Okay, so the next thing that you need, and this is kind of optional, it's a tripod mount for your phone. It holds your phone in here real easy. It's all spring loaded and pretty easy to get into. As what it does, it makes it an attachment to sit on your tripod so that it's real easy to square up your image to the photograph, to the painting. Okay, one of the other things we have in our little toolbox here is a color card. You can get these usually for free, but you want to make sure it has red, yellow, blue, and a grayscale. We're going to photograph this in with our painting. That way, when we bring it into the computer, we can color correct it to the actual values. Each monitor is different, and it will look different from one screen to the other to the other. So what you think looks good on your computer screen might look different on the judge's screen or someone who's browsing your artwork to purchase. So this was a nice handy tool to help make sure that, if anything, it went into the computer in a color correct mode. And we'll show you how to color correct in Photoshop later. Okay, so now it's time to actually photograph our work. So take a painting that you actually want to photograph. And this is an 8x10, and go ahead and set it inside, and set it to the one side of the thing here, but make that kind of in there. Put your color card in there right next to it, and you just set it up in there. Then take your phone, iPhone, Android phone, Windows phone, as long as it has a good camera on it, you should be okay. This isn't too high megapixel quality, but anything recent in the past couple of years will work fine. So go ahead and get into your camera on your phone, and if your camera has the grid on it, definitely turn that on, because you want to set up the grid so that you can line at least one or two corners of it. And so what you're going to do is you're going to hold the camera right above the painting, and you want to try and get it as squared up as possible here, because that'll eliminate some monkeying with it in the computer later. So you line it up, you take a photograph, and then you do it again. You want to have at least two photographs of it. And once you have that in your phone, that's great. Okay, so their other option is to do a horizontal format using the tripod attachment to hold your phone, and set the box on its side. We'll take our 8.5 by 8x10 painting, and we'll go ahead and set it in there. And it doesn't need to be anything too square. And we'll put our color card on top. Then you're going to play around for a while to get everything really squared up just right. You're going to adjust all your knobs, you're going to adjust everything, and make sure it's all just right, everything perfect. And then when you're ready, make sure it's focused, and take one, take two photos, and that should do it. Okay, a final note on the photographing portion. It's imperative to have some type of light diffusing box. That way it takes off all the specular highlights and gives you a nice quality image of your artwork. Any type of phone or camera within the last couple of years is going to give you a real nice photograph as well. It has plenty of megapixels, so don't worry about that. And then for the lighting, you can use the ambient light from your studio or outside. You can also get other lights to set up on the outside if you're going to work at night. If you use fluorescent lights, make sure they are daylight balanced lights. That'll make color correction in the computer a lot easier. Okay, so now we've taken a couple of photographs of our artwork. We have it in our camera phone. Let's take this to the computer and we'll see how to import it into our computer, use Photoshop to color correct, crop it, and we're going to have ourselves a nice quality photograph to enter into a show. Hi, and welcome to the screen capture part of this demo, photographing your work and getting it looking good. So there's a bazillion ways you can get your images onto your computer. However, I do recommend that you create a folder on your desktop with the images from the photo shoot. It keeps things organized and easily to work on. Then when you're done, then you can archive them into your pictures, your artwork, or any other way how you want to work on it and how you archive it. But for now, you just copy and you get the images from your phone or tablet or camera onto your computer in a folder on the desktop. In that case is this one right here for me. So for this demo, we are going to use Photoshop. Now I have a latest version of Photoshop, but everything is going to be essentially the same thing. So we're going to go File, Open, and go into the desktop and then the directory that has the images that we just shot. So here you can see all the pictures I took today from the photo shoot. I'm going to click on it, I'm going to click Open. And as you can see, it is on its side. So the first thing we're going to do is just say Image, Rotate Canvas 9 degrees counterclockwise. Use the magnifying glass, we'll bring it up 1 or 2 clicks. And here is this super duper little fun trick. You want to take the marquee tool and then you want to get the color wheel and then hold down the shift key and select your painting. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you just want to get the general painting in there. Then you go up here to Image, Adjustments, Levels. Over on here on the side you have this thing called Auto. If you click Auto, it goes through and it automatically adjusts things. Now when you look at the painting, you really want to look at your color wheel here. Does this look right? If it looks right to you here, then you're going to be good on your painting. Likewise, you may want to have your painting sitting here on the side and, change it by moving these sliders back and forth to eventually get what you're really looking at. But again, you really want to try and make sure you're matching the color here, not on your painting. And then we say OK. Now we have that. And you just click here and it'll deselect the marquee. Now it's time to get your painting. So let's zoom up on it a little here. If you hold down the space bar, it turns into the hand. You can use the hand to move it. Use the crop tool, and we're going to crop. And you want to get the outside. You see how it's not perfect? We want to get the outside edges. So I'm going to move it down just to the upside here, the outside there. You're going to see it's missing a little here and there. Double click OK. Now you can see that it's it's not perfectly squared up. So I'm going to do Control A or Edit, and then it's Select All. I'm sorry, Select All right there. Control A or Applique A. And then you go to Edit, Transform, Distort. And it has these little handles here. I want to move it up a little bit so that the painting fills the whole scene. Move that down a little bit. Move this over just a hair. Double click. Deselect. And you can see it's real close. It's pretty close, but let's do it one more. I'm going to bring in my crop. I'm just going to crop in the left side just a hair because there's just some stuff that I didn't like. Now, especially when it comes to color correcting, you don't want to go into the image adjustments and start messing with all this. If you start messing with a lot of that stuff, you're going to really get into some territory you don't want to be in. So once you have your painting looking like this, it more or less is what you want it to be. Now we want to go to image, image size, and here's the trick. Resolution 72. The width is 1845 and height 1476 pixels. Now we always recommend 1920 because that's the essential screen size. But this is close enough because it gets resized anyway. Now it says right up here, image size is 7.79 megabytes, and you're freaking out. Oh my God, it's huge. It also says it down here, 7.79 megabytes. That is not the actual file size. I'm going to show you what we're going to do, and you're going to say, oh wow, it works. So we go File, Save As. Here's our working directory, Desktop Video Demo. Here's a title, so I'm just going to call it Image 1, just for this. The save file type is a JPEG. I'm going to hit enter. It brings me my JPEG options, which is quality 12. Make sure it's 12. And OK. It has now saved it as image1.jpg. Now, if we go here into our folder itself, here's the image. As you can see, it's 1.552 kilobytes, which is 1.5 megabytes. And that's a lot less than the 7.9 megabytes it's showing in Photoshop. This is the actual file size right here. And that's less than 4 megabytes, and that will look good. Now I'm going to do another one just to reiterate everything. Okay, I'm going to show you one more painting here that I'm going to Photoshop. I'm going to do it slightly different just to give a different perspective on how to do this. Let's go into old Photoshop. We'll say File, Open. And we're going to choose this one here. We're going to say Open. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in right on this painting here. I'm just going to go ahead and crop it first. I'm going to go here and just start cropping it. Try and get all the picture as you can. And then we'll distort it later. Okay, so it's not perfect, so let's go ahead and fix that. First of all, I'm just going to crop it one more time to try and really get at least two of the edges in really tight. Yeah, that's about it right there. I'll say OK. So we do Control All, select all, edit, transform, distort. We're going to move the little corners, grab them by the handles, move the little corners, try and get them. And you could really, you know, get nutty here with it, but you know, you just want to get the painting inside the handles there, inside the dimensions. Control deselect, and you can see right up in the top, it's just not perfect. Neither is it on the bottom. So let's go ahead and we're going to crop it one more time. We're just going to get really tight here. Really pay attention to what you're doing on the edges. Real close. Okay, yay. Now it's pretty flat. It looks good. Now here's the other trick. We're going to go Image, Adjustments, Levels. And the levels, instead of doing the auto option here, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this other way, where you just bring in the handles. This is the dark. This is the light side. And you can play with these here just to get just to where you want. Not necessarily where it's showing on the line. You go a little too dark, it's too dark. A little too contrasty, you bring it out a little. So we just basically want to you want to play with it and maybe have the painting in your hand off to the side and try and get it up a little bit better. Because when it's being diffused, it's also knocking out some of the light. So we just want to tighten it up a little bit. And when you get to where you like it, then you say, okay. And that's about it. So then we say File, Save As. I'm going to call this Image 2. Might as well spell it right. Image 2. It's a JPEG. You save file type as a JPEG. Hit Enter. Quality is 12. And it'll give you an idea. 2.6 megabytes. Hit OK. So when I close this, I'm sorry, wait, go image size. You can see that it's 2656 at 72. Now again, that seems like it's too big, but it's really not because it'll just get resized. But the size we really look for is 1920 at 72 dpi. We say OK, And we'll just go ahead and save that. Okay, so now again it says 7.83 megabytes here, but if we were to look in our folder, it's 1.6 megabytes. Much better. And that's an image that you can upload to Online Jury Shows, and it'll look great. Judges will make it think it looks great. People want to buy it left and right, and that's super duper. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave some comments if you have some other ideas. This is by no means a lock, stock, and barrel full professional way of doing it, but it is a great way to get at least a pretty decent image of your painting, your artwork online, so it does look good. All right, thanks. Bye.